Hi everybody, I'm Bill Spiegel, Crops Editor for Successful Farming Magazine and Agriculture.com with this week's Question of the Week for Xtreme Ag. The question is, what are 3 key factors for your 2021 seed selection decisions?
Hi, this is Kelly Garrett from Xtreme Ag. The 3 factors that go into the seed selection, hybrid selection process on our farm are, number 1, the hybrids that we want to retain for next year. And that's kind of a twofold thing. We've got our tried and true hybrids, the bread and butter of our operation that we've used over the years that we're comfortable with, that are still performing very well for us. The second part of that would be the new hybrids that we brought in this year. We decide we want to keep those. You know, they performed well. We think they have potential to keep around a long time. We're happy with those. The second part of the selection process are the hybrids we want to kick out. Those hybrids that we've used over the years that aren't performing anymore. You know, and then again, the new hybrids we've tried and we're like, you know, that they're just not for us. We don't use them again. You know, and the third selection process would be the new ones to bring in. And depending on how things happen with the first 2, decides how much room there is for number 3, how many new ones we can have. This year, Mike Evans from Integrated Ag Solutions and I have decided to plant some irrigated corn in 15-inch rows. We've identified some varieties from a couple different companies that we think will put 2 ears on every stalk. So by going to a 15-inch row, spacing them out, we're not going to up the population, probably keep the population the same. But by doing that, we're going to harvest more sunlight, we're going to give the plants more space, and we want to, you know, push the fertility in this irrigation, and we want to try to see if we can put those 2 stalks on. We want to see if we can put those 2 ears on and push yield because of that. So I'm excited about that. That's a big change. You know, the 15-inch head that I used this fall, I like the way it worked for harvest, things like that, and this is going to be a very exciting research opportunity for us this next spring and summer.
Xtreme Ag Field Report on variety selection. Question of the week is, how do I choose which corn varieties that we like to plant coming up modern next year? Well, we got several different things we look at. Kevin Matthews here with the Xtreme Ag Field Report on seed varieties. So we like to see what disease package we have. We look at all of our variety trials we have here on the farm, then we look at our neighbors' variety trials also that they do in the different environments. We want to see what we've got to deal with when it's extremely stressful, when we got the real droughty conditions, or wet weather with the high disease pressure we have. So a defensive package is what we're looking for. We don't care about a racehorse variety. You know, it's neat to play with one on 10 or 15 acres to do a NCGA or something, but when it gets down to the nuts and bolts of staying in farming, we're looking for that good defensive package. We're looking for something that's the top of the game on yield, but yet very defensive on adverse conditions, because in this business we don't have that many perfect years where every variety stands out. So we really need to have one that really can handle the stresses that we have: gray leaf spot, northern leaf blight, southern leaf blight. Those types of diseases is a real big deal. And standability, we want real good standability. So those are some things we look at. We also order our seed direct, and that way we can choose what grade we get. If it's below 40 pounds per 80,000 kernel unit bag, we don't plant it. We'll just send it back. We're not going to plant that light of seed. We've just not had the early vigor in it. It germinates great, no question there, but it's just not got the vigor, and it doesn't yield as well as other varieties. So those are some of the key things that we look at on our farm. Take care, have a good day.
Hey everybody, this is Lee Lubbers, the Field Report from South Dakota. We're in our final day and a half of corn harvest 2020. I'm going to talk about the 3 things that we look for when we're picking seed corn genetics. Number 1 is a good early emerging hybrid, good cold germ scores. That's very important in our no-till environment, northern plains. Number 2 is we're looking for a flexier hybrid, because we need to be able to adapt with variable rate population and extra rainfall above normal or especially below normal in our environment. So a good flexier hybrid, and then also a defensive hybrid. going to miss and what we've seen before is consistency. So we look for a defensive hybrid. Those are the three things that we look for in, year out, for picking seed. I'm Lee Lubbers, Xtreme Ag. Let's do it.
Three key factors that I often consider when selecting seed. Of course, number one would be yield. You've got to have the yield to be able to continue going. Another one would be adaptability to the soil type. We have so many different soil types here in our area that some of the major mistakes you can make is putting the wrong variety in the wrong soil type, whether it's more of a clay-based soil or whether it's got root knot nematodes. That's something that we really have to watch when we're placing varieties. And another one would be standability. None of us like to pick corn down, cut beans down. There's always tremendous yield loss and no efficiency with the combine. So I would say those are three top reasons that I use to select my seed.
Dan Luepkes here, Xtreme Ag. What do we look for when we're deciding on next year's seed purchases? Well, we always look at last year's performance. Obviously, yield is always at the top, but we also want standability. If I can't get good plant health in a hybrid, I don't want it. So if we find a hybrid that has, fallen down through the year, for whatever reason, I usually cross her off the list. I'm not very forgiving on standability. Pretty important in my book. When we're looking at yield, we look at the different traits. Sometimes a VT will out-yield, a stack, so we always look at that, and we'll buy the VT then. We're always looking at what we can get the most yield out. Then we'll address the insects by other means. So obviously yield, standability, and the company that has it. Kind of want a company that stands behind what they're producing and selling to you. So those are the things that are important to me and the things I look for.
Thanks for joining us for the question of the week. Join us next week for another round of this week's question with Xtreme Ag.